Hey there, it's Kat, and this is Brews and Reviews. Today I'm going to be filming the mid-year check-in tag. This tag was created by Harriet from Harriet Rosie and Dane from Dane Reads. So I know there's two mid-year check-in freak-out tags that go around, but I actually prefer this one because it just asks questions that I think I'd prefer to answer, so we're going to go with that. Question number 1. How many books have you read so far this year? Well, as of 2 AM this morning, I've read 95, so I mean that is like a massive achievement for me because I only read 107 books last year in total, and that was a huge achievement for me. And it's actually mind-boggling, that number, because I don't know how that's achievable. I don't know how I've done that. My goal this year was actually to only read 60 books, and I passed that nearly in February. Question number 2, what's your favourite book so far this year? And, you know, I looked through my Goodreads, I looked through my reading challenge, and there were a lot of books that I really enjoyed, and I just really couldn't pick out a favourite. I don't know what it is, but I found it really difficult, because a lot of different books I've been reading, I've been a bit out of my comfort zone, I've been doing a lot of rereads, so I'm not counting the rereads for this one. And yeah, there were just quite a lot that I really, really enjoyed, but I couldn't really pick out a favourite because I'm like sitting on the fence and I don't want to get off it. But anyway, we'll talk about a recent one that I really, really loved, and that was Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. I knew I was going to love this book. Of course I was going to love this book. It's about anxiety and fandom, and I love fandom, and I have anxiety, so it's like a perfect mix of like representation and just cuteness. There was a lot of cuteness in this book, and I think it hit the mark for me because I used to be this, like, not necessarily shy, but I used to be someone who sat and wrote fan fiction and just got really into it and then didn't really, I don't know, have all that much outside of that. So for me reading this, I could find a lot of myself in it, and it kind of just was really nice to read. It's one of those ones that I really struggle to talk about because it just hit something in me, and like I can't exactly describe what it was, but I really loved it. So yeah, this works as well as any other for this answer. Question number 3, what's the most disappointing book you've read this year? Well, this is where I'm going to get like crucified, I'm sure, because it's not the book that a lot of BookTube would say for this. But my answer for this one is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I'm gutted that I didn't love this one, and it's not that I didn't like it at all, because I really did enjoy it. I think I either gave it a 3 or a 4 stars. I think I gave it 4 stars because of the end. But it took me so long to get into it, and I didn't really like all the characters. A lot of them were kind of unlikable, and I hate to say it, but BookTube kind of killed it. And I'm not being funny, we all do that, like we're all at fault with that. We all build up a book that we love, and that's just how we do it. Except Six of Crows has become this sort of institution, I want to say, on BookTube, where everyone fucking loves it, and then they rave about it, and they're like, it's the best thing ever, and I just didn't feel that. And I'm like, what am I missing? It just didn't connect with me in the way that I wish it did, and I feel really bad about it. And I shouldn't feel bad about it because it just didn't click. And while I liked it, it's not like something that I would go, I need to read that again. Probably not sure I'll read this one again unless I really, really love the sequel. Whereas I've already read the entirety of the Grisha trilogy again. I don't know. I know there are a few people out there that read this around the same time as me that were just a bit like, not as great as everyone says it is. Let me know what you think of this. Please don't be angry with me. It is just my opinion. You're entitled to love it because we all love the books we love, and it just didn't quite click for me, so I was very disappointed in it. Question number 4, what genre have you read the most this year? I actually have a section in my bullet journal that tracks which genres I'm reading. So unsurprisingly, the genre that I read the most is sci-fi, and that is topping the list with 30 books, and then it is closely followed by fantasy, which is 20 books. However, I do actually separate fantasy out. So I have a section for urban fantasy, which I class as a separate thing to like high fantasy, which is the one that's on 27 books. So if we counted the urban fantasy, which is, I think is about 12 books, then fantasy would probably win. But it's really weird though looking at this like stats, because I could have told you that those were going to be the genres that I read the most. What I couldn't tell you is how many contemporaries I was going to read this year. I've read way more than I usually read, so that's an interesting fact about this year so far. Question number 5. Name a favourite new author you've discovered this year. So for this one I'm going to go with Robert Jackson Bennett because I read Foundryside by him and I absolutely loved it. I've been raving about it. It's great. It reminds me of Mistborn, but with a really cool magic system and a little bit of queer rap in there as well, and I just love it. It's really cool. After I'd read that one, I was like, I need to read more of this author, because someone who can come up with a magic style like that, it just doesn't fail to interest me. And I was talking to my friend Adam, and he was telling me about a different series that Robert Jackson Bennett wrote, and that one sounds amazing too, but like slightly gross, but also awesome. So I'm definitely going to be picking that one up. I mean, I don't want to call him as a favourite author yet, but I'm super into it, so I definitely think he's one to watch out for. Question number 6. What's the most surprisingly good book you've read this year? And for that one I'm going to go with The Queen of the Tailing by Erica Johansson, because this book, I managed to buy it on audiobook a long time ago. I think it was quite cheap and I like bought it as a deal or something like that, and it just sat in my audiobook thing just unlistened to, and I was kind of like, I'll force myself to read it. I will finally make myself read it because it's on my TBR for 2019, so I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And then when I started listening to it, I just got really into it, and I sort of just fell for the characters, and I sort of just really got into the situation that we were in. The characters themselves are just interesting. I really like that people have sort of like titles rather than names, like the Mace, and I just think it's really cool. The Queen of the Tailing is about a girl called Kelsey who is being picked up by some Queen's Guard type people because she is actually the princess. She's going to be the new queen of the land, and a lot of people are trying to kill her. Pretty much everyone, to be honest, and it's just really good. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, it really surprised me because I wasn't expecting it to be that good, and I was like, yeah, I need to read the next one. But turns out the audiobook narrator for the next one is an audiobook narrator I cannot stand because her voice just makes me think of like a 50-year-old woman, and the narrator's supposed to be like a teenager, so it doesn't gel with me. I'm not happy with it, so I'm gonna have to physically read the next one. Question number 7. What are your favourite and most anticipated releases of 2019? So I don't really keep up with this. I don't keep up with any new releases, really. It's just not my thing. I read a lot of backlist titles, mostly because I just like to pick things up dead cheap at a charity shop and read them. I don't think something being new particularly makes it any better than anything else. I often like to give books a bit of time so that I don't get influenced by a lot of hype. Please see the Six of Crows dilemma that I had. Anyway, there are a few sequels that I know that are coming out this year that I am really excited for, even if I haven't read the book before them yet. So those books are Dark Age by Pierce Brown, which is the second book in the Iron Gold trilogy, set in the same world as Red Rising, just 10 years later. And the second book that I'm really excited for is Doris Ahoy by Charles Heathcote, and it's just Doris. It's our Doris, isn't it? So I just really want to read about this mad old lady going on a cruise because it just sounds amazing. Question number 8. What's your next big priority for your reading? To be honest, I have no idea. I guess I'm just going to carry on with my 2019 TBR because I've still got 19 books on that left to read, and I know you think that'll be easy, but no, it won't, because I purposefully put books on that list that I wouldn't pick up very easily, like The Queen of the Tailing. I was like, no, these books need to be read this year, so so far I've only read 13 of them, and I have 19 left, so I want to kind of take out a few more of those because, let's face it, I need to. Question number 9. What's been your bookish highlight of the year so far? Well, for me, I would say that this has been readathons. I have been sort of smashing readathons, and then the next month I've been failing at readathons, and then the month after that I've been smashing them again. So while we're in currently a month of me failing at a readathon, there are a bunch of readathons that I really enjoyed and have really got me reading and enjoying all of the participation and different things that you can do for them, specifically Tome Infinity and Beyond, which is a readathon created by Tome Infinity, and I co-host that. I've also loved Bookmon Badgeathon, which is a Pokemon-based readathon, again created by Tome Infinity because she creates the most wonderful readathons. I've loved Mental Healthathon, created by A Beautiful Chaos of Books, and I've loved the BookTube games, created by Mayana Reads. The Biblio games is the one that I'm currently failing at, so while it's been really good, I've not been really good at it. Question number 10, who do you tag? Well, I'm not going to tag people for this because I feel like you either do want to do a mid-year book or not, but if you do want to do one, please consider yourself tagged, because I'd like to hear the answers people have for these questions. So that's it for the mid-year check-in tag. I really enjoyed this one, and it was really nice to look back on the reading that I've done so far this year and sort of analyse what I'm doing with myself. So if you like this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!